All right, so we're going to look through, and maybe you guys already have a good understanding of this. If not, no worries. By the end of the day, you should have a decent basic foundation on what we're doing. We're going to go in more detail on Monday on this, and you shouldn't have homework tonight, okay? We should be okay, but we may. So don't always think you're not going to have homework on the weekend. High school teachers once called me out saying, "Do you ever give homework on the weekend?" And I was like, "Yeah, occasionally." They will. So don't be surprised next year when you get homework on the weekend as well. So tonight there shouldn't be homework though, so don't forget. So this is going to be actually, I don't like that they started this out with 2 squared because that's just going to confuse you a little bit. I'm going to go to number 4 and look at 6 squared. And 6 squared means 6 is the base and the 2 is the exponent. And we know that means 6 times 6. And we have a good understanding of that from our integer exponent rules last week. And 6 times 6 is going to be 36, okay? Do you see how I don't like that? Because if I did 2 squared, you're just thinking it's 2 times 2, which it is. But that 2 is this big 2 written out twice, not multiplying it by the little one. So this is 4. So the big common mistake would be, oh, it's 4 times 2, and it's 8. That's wrong. It's not 4 times 2. It's 4 times 4. It's 4 times itself, okay? And that would be 16. These decimals, I'm not asking you to solve these, but how would you go about it? Would you write 2.2? Would you multiply that times 2.2? Yep, that's how you would solve it. Same with here. It would be 4.1 times 4.1, okay? And then 3.5 times 3.5. You're not going to have to deal with that much. All right, 8 squared. That's what it's called, squared. And we're going to learn more about why it's called squared later on in the lesson. 8 to the second power is also how you could write it. And it's also known as 8 times 8, okay? Which is 64. 12 squared. We're going to go 12 times 12, and you're going to have to memorize these ones once you get a little higher. And this is 144. 10 squared, 10 times 10, 100. Okay? You got to keep thinking number times itself today. A number times itself. Okay? Now, down here, we're going to be square rooting. And back in the past, I've kind of usually done this square root sign. And what does it look like to you? I always put this little A and S, vans, and eventually I give you the phrase, let's go off the wall. And I'll say that every once in a while, let's go off the wall with this problem. Because eventually we're going to solve equations with these square roots. But yes, this is the vans off the wall kind of problem. So when you see this little square root sign, and really it could be extended or it could look like this, either way, they're trying to figure out what number times itself equals 1. What number times itself equals 3 or 9? Sorry, jumped ahead there. What number times itself equals these numbers, okay? And you're going to start to see this, okay? 1 times 1 equals 1. What number times itself equals 9? 3. So the answer is 3. The square root of 9 is 3. You got to start sensing the pattern, figuring this out on your own. The square root of 64. What number times itself equals 64? Okay, the square root of 100. Square root of 25. Square root of 81. All right, I expect you to know all of these. I expect you to know these. And these are all called, write this on the side, perfect squares, because they work out so nicely and neatly. There's no decimals involved here, nothing crazy. They're all nice, neat, perfect squares. Write that down. All right, let's go to the side here. These are a little higher level. 144 might come into play if you can remember that. That's 12 times 12. But many of you may forget what 169 and 196. And notice how the numbers are just reversed of each other. And that's going to be 13 times 13 and 14 times 14. Okay? And you're going to have to memorize these. Up to 15, I would ask you to. I'll go ahead and throw 15 in here. It's 225. 15 times 15 is 225. Okay? Now, let's look down here. True or false? The square root of 36 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. True. Square root of 100 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. Square root of 25 is 4. 4 times 4 False. 4 times 4 is 16. Square root of 121. It's 11. 11 times 11? It's 121. Square root of 64 is 7. 7 times 7 is 49, not 64. Square root of 99 is 9. 9 times 9, 99. False. All right, square root of 25 is 5. Square root of 16, 4. Square root of 10 is 5. 5 times 5 is 10. See how they're trying to trick you there? And now look at this little phrase here. Circle the ones that are not perfect squares, okay? Which ones have you noticed that you can't multiply the same number to get this number? So 5 times 5 equals 25. So that is a perfect square, so I'm not going to circle it. Is there any number times itself that equals 3? Nope. So I'm going to circle it. It says circle the number in each row that is not a perfect square, okay? So this is your row here. These are all perfect squares. 9 times 9, 10 times 10, 11 times 11. Is a number times itself equal 4? Yeah, 2 times 2. Does a number equal 12? Is there any number 3 times 3? No, that equals 9. 4 times 4 equals 16. So we're going to circle that one. 3 times 3, 12 times 12, 6 times 6, right? All right, 1 times 1 equals 1. 4 times 4? What number times itself equals 27? There's nothing. 7 times 7, 8 times 8. Okay? All right, go ahead and flip this over. I know there was a lot to learn there. And go ahead and try this first spot here, and I'll go ahead and help you with the last part over here. Don't worry about 16, 17, 18, and 19. When you finish this side, go ahead and fill in these ones. So I'm literally using a calculator because I don't remember these high ones. You will have a calculator available to you for these problems. But this unit, let me remind you, there are some questions on the benchmark where the calculator will not be allowed. 20 times 20, I want you to remember. 20 times 20 is 400. Okay? And I shouldn't have to help you with all of these. You guys should know what the rest of these are. You should fill these out on your own. Again, this is 196. Look on the other side if you forgot, okay? All right, now, the symbol blank called the fancy word, we're going to call it a square root. Square root sign. They also call it a radical. All right. Is to show a number's square root. And you guys can go ahead and fill this one on your own. They're just, again, practicing what we already know. Just repetition. Because 2 times 2 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 9 is 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. We're just trying to repeat this pattern in your head so you don't forget it. Okay, we're just dealing with numbers times themselves. This is good practice for next week. Definitely good practice for next week. Okay. And then go ahead and finish this bottom part for me on your own. Give you about 30 seconds. And then now we're going to jump into a quiz trade. And then after the quiz trade, we're going to do a Desmos activity. Okay? Good job, guys.